so glad you're out here this morning. This week I've been teaching on efforting and effortlessness, right? So kind of this idea of, right, this is where the asana practice, right, or physical practice of yoga comes in hand, is that we get to practice all these things on the mat because the real work begins off the mat, right? Like that's what we do this for. And so today's going to be all about putting in that effort, but also can you find the effortlessness in the effort, right? And then, especially for this month too, right? Like things that we might have going on this month, where that feeling, that sensation of like, oh my gosh, it's just too much, right? Can we find that sensation of going with the flow, that efforting less in all of the things that we have to do and all of the different changes to our routine and schedules and things like this, right? So that's what today is all about, is just finding or leaning into the effortlessness. So let's start seated since you're already all there and very comfortable in your seat. So just settle in, maybe any little more wiggles that you need to get out, just to make yourself as comfortable as possible this morning. And then just let's take some big breaths in through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth, let it go. A couple more just like that, in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. One more. Exhale everything out. And then just allow the breath to come back into a natural rhythm. You might close the eyes or turn down the gaze and let the awareness, the attention rest on the breath. If it's helpful, you might even imagine the breath as like an altar, right? Something to rest the attention on, the gaze on, the focus on. And nothing to change about the breath yet, nothing to shift, just becoming aware of where the breath is breathing in the body. And tuning into that sensation. Feeling the breath rise and fall. And as you continue to bring awareness to the breath, the sensation of the breath, we'll start to regulate the breath with an extended inhale and exhalation. So it doesn't matter how long you breathe for, right? Just that it's a little bit longer than your natural rhythm. Allowing the breath to lengthen, you might tune into that sensation of deepening. And as the breath continues to lengthen, you might find a little evenness between inhale and exhale. And then, with eyes closed or your gaze soft, bring the hands to the belly, wherever's comfortable. It might be the low belly, it might be the sides of the belly. And with the hands on the belly, I want you to start to breathe into the full torso, so bottom of the belly. See if you can expand underneath the hands. And as you exhale, draw in. Maybe find a little contraction of the belly. Squeeze all of the air out. Inhale fully. Exhale, gentle contraction. Inhale fully. Exhale, gentle contraction. We'll take 2 more like this. Feeling into the fullness of the belly. Rise into the hands. And drawing in. And you might keep the hands where they're at. You might let them drift down, whatever's comfortable. And we're going to move into Bhastrika breath, which is kind of like a dog panting. So it's that idea of that breath of but then close the mouth and in and out through the nose. So you want to tackle that same constriction of the belly. So full breath in, exhale, gentle constriction. Inhale fully, gentle constriction. And so you're picking up the pace a little bit, but not a lot. So you find your natural rhythm. And it doesn't matter how fast or how slow this is. It's whatever rhythm works for you. But it's that dog panting and that constriction or engagement of the belly and softening. We'll keep going like this for a few more rounds. Next time you inhale, retain the breath at the top. Bless you. Bless you. And when you feel the breath ready to release, the body ready to release, go ahead and soften the breath, let go. And allow the breath to come back to the natural rhythm. And we'll open the remainder of our practice with 3 Oms together. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose and let it go out the mouth. Your next inhale will prepare for sound. Allowing that sound of Om to be the true calling to the teacher within. And from here, we'll inhale, arms up and overhead. Big full breath in. And we'll exhale to the right. Gentle twist. Let the arms drift down. We'll inhale back up. And exhale in the opposite direction. And we'll continue to move like this just a few times, both sides. Moving with the pace of your breath. And the next time you end on the right side, we'll pause here for just a moment. Press down into the hips, lift the heart high, and feel the rotation coming from the mid-back, right? Rather than torquing on the spine, torquing on the body, just see if you can allow the mid-back to open you up to the right just a little more. Big full breath in. Exhale everything out. We'll inhale, arms back up. And release to the opposite side. We'll release arms down. Press the hips down. Lift the heart. And continue to use the breath to rotate at the mid-back. Another breath in. Breath out. We'll inhale. And we'll exhale, release the hands down. Nice job. And from here, let's go ahead and make our way onto the back. I will come. Still don't think I'm on the right spot. And as you arrive to the back, start to reach the body long. And you might take a good morning stretch, pointing through the toes, reaching through the fingertips. With an exhale, draw the right knee into the chest, give it a little squeeze. You might find a little movement, rotating the femur bone around in the hip socket. And we'll release the leg on an inhale, reach the arms overhead, big full breath in. And exhale, left knee into the chest. Give it a little squeeze, and then you might find some movement. And with an inhale, we'll extend the body long. And we'll take that one more time each side. Exhale to draw in. Inhale to extend. Exhale, draw in. Inhale to extend. And this time with your inhale, give it a really big reach. So really point through the toes, really reach through the fingertips, and then start to work your way into the left side. So you're going to press maybe through the left toes or the left heel, and then reach through the left fingertips and let the body start to curve to the left side. Right? And just let the right side soften. And it might it might do some other things. Just see where you can find a little bit of that efforting, right? But a sensation of effortlessness with the stretch. We'll start to work our way back to center and then work our way into the right side. Press through the right toes or the right heel. Reach through the right fingertips, maybe the left follow, making that C curve with the opposite side of the body and really reach. But tune into a little bit less effort, right? So there's still effort. We still care, but we're not caring too much. And then we'll come back in through neutral. Another little stretch the body long, and then with an exhale, both knees into the chest, one at a time or both together. And then we'll just rock and roll. So you might take the hips side to side. You might hold onto the shins or behind the legs. Right? Just find some action that works for you this morning. And then we'll start to work into a little core. So draw the knees all the way into the chest, as close as they can come. And then nuzzle the shoulder blades in together so that they're a little more connected. And you feel a little more length at the back body, especially in the neck. And then from here, release the arms alongside the body, but keep the knees where they're at. So you should feel the core and the hip flexors turn on a little bit. And then we're going to inhale, extend the feet to the sky like you're stamping the feet up, and reach the arms overhead. And with an exhale, we'll draw the knees back in and reach the arms alongside the body. And we'll take this a few more times. Inhale to extend. Exhale to draw in. Inhale to extend. Exhale to draw in. Let's do one or two more. And we'll meet tight with knees and the chest. You might give them a little squeeze again. And then we're going to work into reverse tabletop. So knees will stack over the hips, and you'll press out through the feet like you're standing on them. So shin bones are relatively parallel to the earth. And then we're going to bring arms alongside the body and bring hands into the thighs. So you'll start to press the hands into the thighs and the thighs back into the hands. And for most of us, a slight arch in the low back feels best. But if that feels like too much, you might even rotate the small of the back and press it firmly into the earth. Find a little length in the back of the neck. Continue to draw the shoulder blades together, staying open in the front of the chest. We're after that deep belly awakening. Another full breath in, full breath out. We're going to find some movement. So left hand will stay connected to the left thigh, and then 5 up to 5. So 3 to 5, toe taps with the right arm reaching overhead. So we'll toe tap right foot down, reach the arm overhead, and then come back. And we'll just take that a few more times on the right side. Keep pressing left hand into left thigh. One more if you've got it. And then we'll press right hand to right thigh, and we'll switch to the other side. So left arm reaches, left toes tap, and back. Up to 5. Find your edge, right? So a little bit of effort, but effortlessness. And nice job, everyone. Let's release the soles of the feet down to the earth, arms alongside the body, and soften the belly. Let everything soften. Reconnect to the breath. You might bring hands to the belly, breathe into the belly once again. You might just soften arms alongside. All right, my dears, from here, with soles of the feet down on the earth, you'll work the feet about hip-width distance. And we're working up towards a bridge, so you might walk the feet a little bit closer, just depends on the architecture of your body. And then arms alongside the body, and I want you to nuzzle in the shoulder blades even more so that you can find a little more length in the back body, especially along the neck. And then from here, we'll start with pelvic tilts. So as you exhale, draw the belly button to the spine and roll the pelvis towards you. As you inhale, soften the belly, arch the low back, and roll the pelvis away.
Renee, can you turn the music
Yes.
down?
Absolutely. It got really loud. I'm sorry about that.
My hearing aids are picking up on it.
Yes. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so pelvic tilts. So exhaling, drawing the belly button to the spine. And then inhaling, arching the low back, soften the belly, and roll the pelvis away. And so we'll just take this a few more times. On the earth, massaging the sacrum. And tune into that sensation of balance, right? One side might roll a little different than the other, and that's okay. And then we'll start to work into our bridge. So with the exhale, belly to spine, we'll press a little weight into the feet and slowly start to lift the hips. And then we'll roll back down the spine, lift the low back, and roll the pelvis away. So we'll just move that a couple times more until we arrive into our fullest expression of bridge this morning. And as you start to lift into your bridge shape, think about pressing down into the feet and then drag the heels a little closer to you. So energetically, not actually, right? And just notice how that feels. And then you might press into the feet,
away. So down and away or down and towards you. Continue to lift the hips. And if it calls to you this morning, you might even nuzzle the shoulder blades in a little closer and connect the hands underneath the low back, pinkies pressing into the earth. We'll stay here for another few breaths. Lower when you're ready. Inhale, keep pressing down into the feet, lifting the hips, feeling that engagement. Exhale everything out. We'll take another breath in. Another breath out. Let's do one more breath in. Release the hands if they're clasped. Exhale, lower down one vertebra at a time. Nice job, everyone. And then from here, let the hips connect to the earth for a moment. Settle for a moment. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, start to walk the feet wide, maybe to the edge of the mat. And you might cactus the arms, or just find wherever's comfortable for the shoulder blades. And then we'll just start to drop the knees to one side. The gaze might come opposite. Just find what the body needs this morning. And then we'll pick up the knees and drop them to the other side. We'll continue to move like this for a few more rounds, and we're going to play around with a little bit of this action. So as you continue to float this back and forth, I want you to bring the attention into the hips. So allow this action to come from the hips. So feet are soft, legs are soft, but really the hips and a little bit of the low belly to protect the low back, right? That's what's orienting the action. And then the next time you come up through center, you'll pause there for just a moment and then readjust, make any other little wiggles or making yourself just more comfortable. We're gonna switch to, so same action, but we're gonna switch the attention to the feet. So now the feet are in charge of moving this action. So see if you can soften at the hips and let the feet guide this, and just notice how that might feel different. You'll still want to keep that slight engagement of the belly to protect the low back. And then one or two more, whatever's going to bring you back to a sensation of evenness. We'll come back up through center. And then we'll take this one more way. And, well, it's going to be two, but they kind of work into each other. So I want you to take your right leg, and if you need to make any adjustments with the arms or with the feet, feel free. And then I want you to take your right leg and start to open it up to the right, and then let the left leg just follow the right. And then as it kind of flops down, you'll pick up the left this time, and then let it carry the right leg.
Come back to center.
So then it'll kind of come all the way over. So it's like whatever leg is on top is the one being in charge, and the other one just follows. And so any version, like that looks great. And we'll take this one or two more times. And then we're going to switch to the bottom leg being in charge. So the next time you come to one side, you'll pick up the bottom leg, and they might connect in the middle. They might touch, right? But it's like the bottom picks up and maybe topples the other leg over. Nice job, everyone. So a lot of this hip stuff that we're doing is very grounding, but it's also very energizing, right? So it's a sensation of that feeling grounded, connected, rooted down, but with a feeling of vitality. So find some evenness. And then we'll come back through center. Let the hips settle. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Another inhale. And with your exhale, hug the knees into the chest. And then you might grab the legs wherever comfortable. So I'll cue the option of bringing the hands either right behind the knees or on top of the knees. And then you might think about trying to stack the femur bone over the hip joint. So bringing the thigh over the hips, and then see if you can soften the hips a little and just let the arms be in charge of the legs. And for some of us, little circles feel really good. For others, it might be like a little shake, a little pulsation. I tend to really enjoy that pulsation, so I'll show you kind of what that looks like. Right, so hands either behind the knees or on top of the knees, and you're just finding that softness in the legs, and our big little soup spoons in our big pot of brew, our witch's cauldron. Right, and then the shake is something more like this, right, where the hands are just shaking the legs back into the socket. And you'll find your breath, full breath in. Long, smooth, steady exhale out. Find some stillness. And then let's lower the left foot down to the earth, and we're going to extend the right leg to the sky. You might interlace fingers behind the thigh for just a moment. And if you decide to do that, press the thigh into the hands and press the hands back. Feel some length happen at the spine. And press into the left foot. Now keep pressing the right foot to the sky like you're standing on it, and release the hands away. And now you're just holding this leg, and this might be plenty. If you want a little more, you might find some little circles. If you want a little more still, extend the left leg out onto the mat and press through the left heel. Keep with the leg circles in the right side. You want to feel this in the low belly and at the hip flexor. You might feel it other places too, and then reverse in the other direction. And you might get a little bit bigger with your circles, just depending on how the body's feeling, how it's awakening. Let's take one more. And we'll draw the knee back into the chest, release the foot down to the earth. We'll bring the left knee in, and then extend it, hands behind the thigh if you did that on the other side, just to start. And feel into that pressing into the hands and that little bit of resistance from the hands. Press down into the right foot to create some stability in the pelvis, and then release the both hands, and then you might find those little circles into the left foot. If you want a little more, extend the right leg. We have some songbirds. We'll take another breath in and a breath out. Come to stillness. We'll draw that left knee in, bring the right knee back up, both soles of the feet to the earth. And then from here, we'll make our way through tabletop. We'll make our way into tabletop. So you might roll to one side, drop both knees, and lift up. You might take some rock and rolls if that feels good on the back. Nice job. How we feeling?
Old.
I was hoping for grounded, but old works too.
I feel very grounded. We should stay on the ground.
Don't worry, we won't be up too long. All right, my dears. So let's start with our dancing lion. So just kind of exploring the body. No right or wrong way to do this. Let's take another breath in and another breath out, coming into a neutral spine, and we'll drop down onto the forearms. Find a little length in the back of the neck, so think chin to chest slightly, not all the way, but slightly. And then we're going to find that shoulder threading, so releasing the heart towards the earth, nuzzle the shoulder blades in together, and then puff up through the chest. Bring the shoulder blades wide and see how far you can reach the heart to the sky. So the spine might start to incorporate with this action, but for the first few, just see if you can really keep it to the shoulders. And then incorporate the spine. Exhaling, drawing the belly button to the spine, lifting, arching to the sky. Exhaling, softening the belly, letting the heart drift down. Gaze stays somewhere around the forearms or thumbs. We'll come to neutral, and then let's move into thread the needle. So if you'd like a little more space, you could come up onto the hands again, or you could just move into it from forearms. We'll inhale, sweep the right arm up to the sky, find some length, big full breath in, and with an exhale, we'll sweep the right arm under the left, right ear to the mat. And as you do this, tune into what's happening in the hips and see if you can bring a little more sensation of evenness, of balance, right? And then feel into that effortlessness of this shape, right? So there's still action, there's still engagement, right? Hips are helping to keep the pelvis supported, keep you supported in this rotation. But you might be pressing that bottom arm down into the earth a little bit, feeling into a little more rotation in the thoracic. Right, but finding some softness, finding some ease and grace in this shape. We'll take one more breath in, another breath out, starting to work the left hand back underneath the shoulder. Press into the hand. We'll lift the right hand high for a counter twist. And we'll set the right hand back down. Nice job. And then we'll switch sides. So inhale, left arm. Full breath in, and with the exhale, sweep the arm underneath the right, left ear to the mat. Find some evenness in the hips. Beautiful adjustments. And again, tune into that sensation of ease in the body, ease in the breath. Right? We always know if we're efforting too much when we're not breathing, or if the breath becomes jagged or catches, right? So find that smoothness of breath and sense into that effortlessness. One more full breath in, full breath out. Start to press into the right hand. We'll lift up, left arm up to the sky for the counter twist. And we'll set the left hand down. Nice job. All right, from here, we'll tuck the toes. And I want you to think about this like a cat, right? So you've seen dogs and cats do their downward dog shape, right? They really stretch it out. So that's kind of the shape we're after, but with toes tucked. So we're kind of tucking the chin to the chest, bringing the spine into that cat-like back, and then pressing through the hands to really reach through the whole back body. Take another full breath in. Full breath out. We'll inhale to come back forward just for a moment. And this time we're going to move into our down dog. So same action. Find that cat back, chin to chest. Start to reach the hips towards the heels, but this time the knees lift. And then you'll extend the legs. Well done. Beautiful. And then from here, just start to pedal out your down dog. You might drop one heel down, then the other. You might play around with the hands. I love, love, love to press left heel down and right hand in, so crossing the body, and then left hand, right heel. So just kind of playing with that opposite or playing with whatever wakes you up. And then we'll come into a little bit of stillness here, and if wrists and arms are okay for you, let's go ahead and step into the toes and come up high on the heels. So weight is in the toes, and then we're going to drop both heels to the right. And then see if you can press into both hands equally. For a lot of us, this is a nice lat stretch. And you might let the hips kind of drop down a little more. You might move around, you might stay still, and then with an inhale, we'll lift the heels back up and drift them down to the opposite side. That nice stretch on the right. Find some evenness with both hands. One more breath in. Exhale everything out. We'll inhale, heels back up, and with an exhale, we'll gaze to the top of the mat and start to walk the feet to meet the hands, coming into a forward fold. And for this first forward fold, you might take the feet a little bit wider. You might bend the knees a little deeper and let the torso melt over the thighs. If hands are on the mat, you might work in the direction of fingertips in line with the toes. If you're letting arms float, you might cross arms, fingers in the elbow crease, and let the head and neck soften. Whatever you do, see if you can let this first forward fold be more about spinal decompression than finding length in the back of the legs. We'll take another full breath in. Full breath out. Full breath in. Full breath out. Releasing hands down to the mat if they're not there already. On an inhale, we'll rise into our half lift. Hands might come to shins or thighs, right? Weight comes in the toes, like you're looking over that cliff. Draw the shoulder blades together. Open up in the front of the heart. Exhale, melt back down. We'll inhale, half lift. Exhale, melt it down. Inhale, we'll rise all the way up, coming into our standing mountain. Nice job, everyone. We'll bring hands to heart center for just a moment. How are we feeling? Good.
Really young now.
Good. Good. All right. I'm glad. You just needed like a sun salutation. That's it. It's the cure-all. All right. And then we're going to let hands drift down, and then so we're going to play with some blocks. We're going to do block chair with a block. If you want soft blocks, I have extra blocks too. Just one. So whatever you want, but I'm just saying that's there. I do love the wood blocks. So we're going to bring our block in between the thighs. And then I generally like to do a little rocking back and forth on the feet, just to let the feet come into a place that's comfortable. And then as you continue to do this, you might come into a little softness as the inner thighs start to engage. So there's a couple different sensations happening. So you're squeezing in with the block, You want to feel that inner thigh, and then I want you to feel the front of the thigh lift the kneecap. And then we're going to bring the heel of the hands to the crease of the hips and just start to sit back a little, but keep the length of the arms and the spine long, right? So it's going to require some more action from the belly. And think neutral pelvis, right? So we've talked about that before, right? You've got your cheerleader butt, you've got your cowboy butt, right? So that neutral in the middle pelvis keeps squeezing, lifting, sinking, and keeping that heart high. So you might even feel this in the mid-back. Another breath in. Another breath out. And then if this feels good and supported, if you feel it in the low belly, we'll bring hands to heart center. You might open up wide to keep the shoulder blades open. And you might sink a little deeper. Keep hugging the belly in, keep breathing, full breath in, right? Effortlessness, even in the effort. Use the breath, allow that breath to move you into that grace, that sensation of ease in the body, right? Even when it's hard, even when we're working, we're efforting, right? There's still a place that we can be in effortlessness. One more inhale. And with the exhale, we'll let the arms drift down. Press into the feet, lift high. Keep squeezing the block and press the hips forward. You might bring the hands to the low back and then lift up at the heart. Keep squeezing the block, lifting the kneecaps. One more full breath in. And with an exhale, we'll come back. Nice job. How'd that go? Good.
Didn't drop the block on my toe. That's good.
I know, those wood blocks scare me.
It makes
But
you really
they're
want
really working. They're working. I know. I'm like, no, I might need one. All right, my dears, let's inhale from the top of the mat. And with an exhale, we'll fold forward. Inhale to half lift. And on an exhale, we'll step the left foot back, coming into our low lunge. And so just find what works in the body, and that back heel's lifted. We're on our railroad track. And I want you to think about drawing in both legs like you're closing a pair of scissors. Right, so really activate the inner thighs, lift at the pelvic floor, lift at the glutes. Like making up muscles in my head. And then from here, you're going to exhale everything out. Hug the belly button to the spine, and on an inhale, rise all the way up. Nice job. And then we might release hands down to the hips. You might keep them up, but you might bring them to the hips. You might bring them to a thigh, right? Just find somewhere that's comfortable for the arms. And I want you to, we talked about this a little bit last week. I'm going to back up so I can just see you all. So think about the front of the hips, right? That like bony part of the hip. And we all have this tendency to kind of lean forward, right? So that there's an angle here going this way with the pelvis. But I want you to maybe even shorten the distance of the feet so that the front of the hip can now lift up. So you might bring your hands to the hip bones and feel that tilting, right? That dumping. It's like a bowl of water. We're spilling over, and we want to bring it back to neutral. So there's that lifting up in the front. Beautiful, yes. And now does that change the shape? Does that change the openness on that left hip?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Good. All right, so from here, you might stay right here. You might lift arms back up and feel that openness from the back body, right? So it's like we're lifting at the heart and the whole front of the body is open. We'll take another full breath in, full breath out. Let's do two more like that. Inhale completely. Exhale, soften and release. One more.
Exhale everything. We'll inhale here, and with an exhale, we'll release the hands down to the mat. Let's step the right foot back to meet the left, and we'll come into our high plank. You can always take high plank on the knees, but for the sake of today, we might take it up. Your choice. And I want you to press through the heels as you press down into the hands and lift the heart. And think your slight cat back, right? So we're activating at the pelvic floor, maybe to lift the hips and to lift the whole torso up just a little. One more breath in. And we'll exhale, bring the knees down to the earth in any form or fashion. And then we're gonna play with our little, I'll come here so I can see all of you. We're gonna play with our little push-up. So supporting knees, and right, we're just taking our, so inhale, find that length, hug the belly button to the spine, and we're gonna imagine we can bring the heart between the thumbs. And then the elbows, instead of going out, rotate the eyes of the elbows to the front, and then you're coming back a little. So you might just come down a little bit, you might come down a lot. And notice what happens with the breath, right? So I like to, if I remember, so inhale as I go down, exhale as I lift up, because there's more power in the exhale. Let's work a couple more if you've got it. Nice job, everyone. And we'll lower all the way down to the earth. So knees, chest, chin on the earth. Butts in the air. Feels awkward, yes. And then press into the hands and use that to lift the heart and slither forward. Nice job. I love all the little serpents in the grass today.
More like a slug.
Slugs still slither. They still got cute little faces.
Oh, yeah.
Slugs are actually cuter than snakes. All right, so from here, we'll bring the fingertips in line with the nipples. And then think about forehead down, right? And create length in the back of the neck. We'll draw the shoulder blades together, lift up those shoulders, almost like you could hold a pencil behind you. Press down into the feet and lengthen the tailbone to the earth or to the feet, right? So it's kind of, you're doing that same tilting action of trying not to spill out your bowl of water just on the ground. So lengthen the tailbone away and then peel the heart up first. Maybe the gaze never lifts. We'll exhale back down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And then take a little break here. You might interlace fingers underneath the forehead. You might soften arms alongside the body and bring an ear to the mat. Just whatever's comfortable. And take some belly breaths here. Feel into the belly breathing into the earth. And the whole back expanding. If you're looking one direction, switch the gaze. Take another few breaths here. And then we'll, if your gaze is sideways, we'll bring the head back to neutral. We'll bring fingertips back in line with the chest. Inhale fully. With the exhale, press into the hands and knees and rise back up into your tabletop. Nice job. And then from here, switch to this side. Let's go ahead and just step the left foot forward. And then we'll step through and come into our high lunge. So find your feet in your low lunge first. Feel into that drawing in action, active in the glutes, active in the inner thighs. Full breath in.
Exhale everything out. And on an inhale, lift all the way up. And then we'll release the hands down. Nice job. Back up a little. And then from here, we'll release hands to the hips. And I want you to feel again into that sensation of rotating the pelvis back to neutral. So instead of spilling forward, right, we're rotating so that the front of the hip come back in line. And you might have to adjust the feet a little closer together. And think railroad tracks instead of a tightrope, right? So that there's a little more spaciousness between the feet in width. And then once you find that lifting up, then you might extend the right leg a little bit more. You might bring the arms up overhead. Feel that lift at the heart. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Full breath in. Long, smooth, soft breath out. Full breath in. Soft breath out. One more. Exhale everything out. We'll release hands down to the earth. Nice job. We'll step back. We'll come into our high plank once again. Press through the heels. Remember, you can always take this on the knees. Feel that lift in the low belly, especially as you send the tailbone towards the toes. One more breath in. With an exhale, we'll come down, knees, chest and chin to the earth. We'll inhale, scoop forward. And this time, I'm gonna rotate again. And this time, so you'll start with the forehead down on the earth, and then you're gonna walk the arms out so that they're off the mat for most of us probably, and think about like chicken wing elbows. So yeah, so you're in that 90 degree in the elbows, and your arms and shoulders and hands are all in alignment. And you're gonna press down into the feet, lengthen the tailbone to the earth, and then with an inhale, peel the heart up, keep the gaze down to create length in the back of the neck. And then from here, you'll just drop to one shoulder. Maybe the gaze follows opposite of that shoulder. And then you'll inhale back up and exhale in the opposite direction. We'll take this a few more times, both sides. Do one more round. And then we'll lower back down, bring the hands in line with the chest. Lift up when you're ready. Back into tabletop. And then from here, we'll tuck the toes. We'll send the hips towards the heels and rise up, downward facing dog. And just pedal out this shape again. Maybe notice how it might feel a little bit different. We've created some more openness in the body. Maybe some more settling with the breath, settling of the mind. And coming into stillness. See if you can nuzzle the shoulder blades in just a little closer for just another moment. Full breath in. And with the exhale, we'll gaze forward and walk the feet to meet the hands, coming back into a forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to fold down. Inhale, rise all the way up. And we'll exhale, release arms down alongside the body. Nice job. So we're gonna move back into our block, or excuse me, back into our chair with a block. So option to keep the block again or try it without, but it is nice to hold everything in. So block between the thighs, hands will come to the heels, and find that squeezing in, lifting up action. And then as you press into the hands, that creates length in the spine and ideally draws the low belly in, right? So we've been playing with a little bit of that opening of the front of the pelvis. So you might feel this in the belly even more today, especially by the second round. And then sink a little deeper, but keep the spine long. Find the right spot for my feet. Full breath in, full breath out. And if this all feels good, then you have the option hands at heart center or hands all the way up and open. Let's go for 3 more breaths. Full inhale. Smooth, soft exhale. Are you efforting in the breath? Are you efforting in the body? Can you find a little more grace and ease? Tune into that sensation of effortlessness, even in the busyness of the body, busyness of the breath. 1 more inhale. We'll exhale, release hands through heart center, down alongside the body. Press into the feet, hands at the hips. Press the hips forward, lift the heart, draw the shoulder blades together, open across the whole front of the body. 1 more breath in. And we'll come back into neutral. Nice job. We'll release the block down. And we'll step long on our mat. Extend the arms, check in with the ankles that they're directly beneath the wrists. And then from here, we'll release the hands back to the hips. And then you're picking up the right toe, so you'll just pivot on that right heel. And then that's going to bring you into that anatomical position for Warrior Two. The left foot might come in a little bit, about 45 degrees. And then I want you to activate that back leg. Well, I guess I should say, I want you to want to activate that back leg. Right, so press into the knife edge of the left foot, lift the arch, and feel that activation come all the way up into the left glute. And then use that power to send yourself into the lunge. And then press down into the front heel to stay lifted in the leg. So you want equal weight in both feet. And then again, think about that same action of the hips, right? So rather than dumping the hips forward, right, you're picking up at the front of the pelvis, the front of the hips, lifting up a little bit, and you might come out of this lunge a little to lift the hips, or I should say to lift the front of the pelvis, right? And then come back down and extend the arms. Beautiful. Keep breathing. Let's take another breath in, another breath out. We'll find a little movement. So inhale, press into the front foot, extend the leg, reach the arms overhead, gaze will come center. And then we'll settle back into our Warrior Two. Gaze comes out over the front middle finger. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. 1 more. Inhale. We'll stay straight in the leg. We'll bring the arms back down. Press into that big toe mound and straighten the leg maybe even more. We're working into our triangle. And then we're going to bring the right hand down to the right hip crease. Left hand might come to the left hip. And you're pressing that hand into the hip crease to rotate the hip so that the bottom hip starts to tuck under and the left hip starts to kind of come up on top. Beautiful, yes. Keep pressing into the front big toe. Yes. And you might not end up going as far down because of that toe, and that's okay. But you want to feel that support on both sides of the body. And then you might release the right hand to a soft knee, to a block on either side.
If this all feels good, you might lift the left arm up to the sky. Well done. Big full breath in. Smooth, steady exhale out. Full breath in. Exhale everything. One more, just like that. Let it go. We'll inhale to rise up. And let's take a reverse triangle. So front foot will stay lengthened. And then you'll just reach the right arm up. Working into that right side. Full breath in. And we'll exhale back to central or back to neutral. Bend into the right knee just a little bit, and then you'll pick up the right toes, bring them back in line, and then we'll pivot on the opposite side. So the right toes turn in just a little bit, and you're finding that power in the back leg first. So feel into that scooping action by pressing into the knife edge of the right foot, lifting up, and then let that draw all the way up, especially into the right hip the right hip, the glute. And then you're using the power of that back leg to press into the lunge. And then again, finding that lift in the front of the hip. So if I'm not lifting, right, it looks something like this. There's that dumping action. And I want to lift up in the front of the hip and then continue to draw the inner thighs together. And then from there, extending the arms out, drawing the shoulder blades together. Beautiful. Keep pressing down with the front heel, down with the back knife edge, drawing the inner thighs together. We'll settle in for another breath. And then we'll find a little movement. So we'll inhale, arms overhead, extend the front leg. Exhale, gaze comes back over the front hand, back into the lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more. Nice job. We'll release hands down to the hips. Bring that left hand to the left hip crease. Press into the front toe mound. And then you're pressing and extending that left leg. Keep squishing that left hip, and we'll start to tilt the hips. So you're pressing that left hip to tuck under. Keep drawing in with the right foot. And then you might soften into a block, into a knee or a shin. And then if that all feels good and supported, maybe lifting the right arm. Maybe lifting both corners of the mouth. Finding that effortlessness in the breath, in the sensations in the body. We'll take another breath in. Breath out. With an inhale, we'll rise all the way up. We'll find our reverse warrior. Lifting the left arm, right arm comes behind. Stretch out that whole left side. Beautiful. We'll inhale again, and with an exhale, we'll tick-tock arms. Let's pivot the left foot back to neutral. And then check in that the feet are about parallel, the outside of the edge of the foot, about parallel to the short edge of your mat. We're going to move into a wide-legged forward fold. And I want you to start to feel into like you were almost going to fall forward. So that weight comes in the toes even before we start to fold. Yes. So it's this action that you'll want to hold on to. And then just like we do in chair, keep squeezing the inner thighs together to keep that lift. And then you're bending. So let's bring hands to the hips. Draw the shoulder blades together. Draw the elbows together. Hug the belly button into the spine. And then start to lower. Once you come to about halfway, you might release hands down to the earth or to a block. And keep that forward action in the toes, light on the heels. And then you might lower into your version of a fold. And we'll just breathe here.
To make this even more challenging still, see if you can pick up the kneecaps with the quadriceps. Nice job, everyone. Full breath in. Full breath out. Full breath in. Full breath out. One more. We'll inhale in half lift. You might bring hands to a block, one in front, so like under the shoulder. So think kind of that, like a tabletop shape with the upper body. And then left hand's gonna come right underneath the face. And you're gonna either bring right hand to the right hip and lift the heart, or you're gonna extend the right arm all the way up for a twist. And then think about the hips again. I know my hips really like to hike. One side likes to hike up in this. So feel into what's going on with your hips. See if you can find a little more sensation of balance. One more breath in. And with the exhale, we'll bring the right arm back down to the earth, and we'll inhale left arm up. One more breath in, and we'll release back down. Draw the feet towards one another just to activate the inner thighs. Bring the hands to the hips. You might come from that halfway lift. Draw belly button to spine and lift all the way back up. Beautiful job, everyone. And then if you want, you might jump and come back to center, or just step. Yeah! It like takes more mental power than anything. Like I really got to think about bringing it back together. All right, so one more chair, and then we're coming back down to the mat. I said we wouldn't be up long. So option to do with the block or without. I'm going to suggest or recommend to do with the block. And we're going to work into another little twist in chair. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me better and find my feet in a good spot on the earth. And then from here, so now we've worked in a chair several times. So you really got that down in your body. We're going to come into that same shape. So inhale, feel that lift of the spine, squeeze the blocks in, and then we're going to lower into our chair. And then from here, we're going to start to work into a little bit of a rotation. So option number one, or bus stop number one, I had a client tell me that she did not like the bus stops. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then I explained why I use it. She goes, oh, I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so bus stop number one. We're going to bring left hand to a knee, right hand to a hip. Right, and this might be like enough openness. So if you keep squeezing the block, it's it's, encouraging our hips to stay in the same place, right, staying steady. And so this twist might not be as deep because if we don't have a block, right, we can just kind of move and torque the whole body. So it might feel quite a bit different. And then if this feels good, you might start to lower the left arm down to the knee. And then this might be the next bus stop. And then if this all feels good, you might bend the elbow and bring both hands to touch, resting the left elbow on the right knee.
And here's where you say, can I get off the bus?
And everyone needs to get off the bus. One more breath in if you've got it. Exhale. We'll inhale to rise up. And let the arms drift down. Take a little break. Nice job. Totally different with a block, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it on the other side. All right.
Just keep your hips right, though.
Yeah. All right, so we'll inhale. Just feel some length, and then we'll exhale. Release hands down to the hips. We'll find our chair. Lift up in the heart, feel that length, sit down a little deeper, right? And then bring right hand to right knee, left hand to left hip, or right hand, left knee. Too many rights and lefts. Good thing there's only two sides.
That's right.
Could you imagine spider yoga?
Octopus yoga.
Jellyfish yoga? All right, then from here, we might bring the arm down, right? And this might be plenty. Find that, and then when you're ready, you might bend the elbow, bring both hands to heart center. Keep squeezing that block. Full breath in, full breath out. Full breath in, full breath out. We'll inhale and unwind. And we'll exhale, let the arms drift down to the earth. So we'll work into our yogic squat from here before coming down back to the earth. So a couple options. You have your high squat, right, which is almost like a horse variation. And for some of us, this feels really nice. For others, we might walk the feet in a little closer and come down into our yogi squat. And if you're in a variation of yogi squat, another option, you could roll the side of your mat or roll up a blanket, right? And then bring the heels, well, that was like not a great example. With a blanket, you would bring the heels back on your blanket so that you have some support underneath the heels. And then you feel like you're pressing into something, so it's just a little more stable. And then you might bring hands to heart center, or my new favorite, and this won't work for everyone, but bringing the hands down to the ankles and kind of press away with the elbows and then lift up, right? So it allows just for that little bit of lifting action to happen from the pelvic floor. Do you feel that? We'll take another breath in, another breath out, another breath in, and then we'll exhale. And if you're in your low squat, you might just come back to seated. If you're in a high squat, you might come into tabletop and then make your way down to seated. Nice job, everyone. How are we feeling? No answers.
I'm thinking.
I'm not sure how I'm feeling yet. That's okay. That's okay. All right, let's bring the right leg in. We're gonna open and close just a couple times, especially after all of that chair work. We're moving into the fall season, right? So grounding poses, but also strong poses for the big muscles, right? That stability helps us feel grounded as this season transitions. All right, and then we're gonna pick up the leg and cross it over. So you might stay right here. You might bend the knee underneath if you want a little more. So something smells really good. And then from here, we're gonna work into that twist. So right arm comes behind. Inhale, lengthen up the body, extend the arm, and then feel into that sensation of twisting from the mid back. Inhale to find length. Exhale to rotate. Inhale to find length. Exhale to rotate. And you might hug a knee. You might hook the knee on the outside. If the hand's lifted, you might spread the fingers just a little bit. And I want you to think about keep drawing the right knee into the heart just a little bit more. So you want to feel that lift in the hip flexor and that rotation from the mid back. We'll take another breath here. Exhale everything out. We'll inhale to unwind. And then exhale, find that counter twist on the other side with just a little bow to the earth. Nice job. And then from here, we'll pick up the knee go ahead and set it down on the inside of the leg. And then we're going to rotate towards, so arms up, and then rotating towards the left toes. So this might feel a little bit different in the back rather than just like, hooking the hands to rotate us. Really feel that rotation come from the belly. And then when you feel like you're over the left, you might bring a left hand down to the earth. And then think about the right hand coming on the outside of the left leg. So inhale, find a little length, pressing through the left foot. Exhale, you might dive into this a little bit deeper. Inhale to find lift. Exhale to lower. We'll take one or two more. And then we'll inhale to rise back up. Right arm will plant behind you. And this could be a big move, but it feels really good. So you're gonna pick up the hips. So you're on one knee, and then the other foot, I tend to come out into almost that plank. And then you're pressing into the whole hand and rounding in the front of the body. Beautiful. Another breath here. And with the exhale, we'll lower back down. Nice job. That one's like one of my favorites. And we'll pick up the right knee, we'll extend it out. Left knee comes in. And we'll do our little open and close. So any variations, right? Any place for the knee and the leg to be, just to feel into some of that mobility. And then we'll bring the leg over the right. If you brought the bottom leg, the right leg in on the opposite side, do so on this side, or maybe this side needs something different. And then we're going to press down into both hips, left arm behind us, lift up in the spine, extend the arm, and then we'll start to rotate to the left. Find length on an inhale. Exhale to the left. Inhale, exhale, one more inhale, and exhale. You might hook hook an elbow. You might bring the hand to the heart. You might keep it to the sky, spread the fingers. Feel that length on the inhale and that rotation from the mid-back on the exhale. We'll slowly start to unwind. We'll take that counter twist on the other side. So just a little bow to the earth. And then we'll come back to neutral. We'll work the left foot on the inside of the right thigh in any version. And then we're gonna rotate, so arms up. We're rotating the whole body to the right toes this time. And then right hand might connect to the earth behind you. Left hand to the outside of the right leg. And you'll find length on an inhale. Exhale, you might work the heart towards the toes. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, melting into this. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. We'll slowly start to rise back up. Left arm comes behind the body. And then we'll pick up the hips and send the hips to the sky. You might adjust in the feet just a little. Stretch out through the whole front of the body. And then lower back down. Nice job, everyone. All right, the last bit of work for the day. You can just flop right into Shavasana, or if you want a little more still, we'll come into our low boat on the way down. So extending the arms out as you find the sacrum, pick up the feet, pick up the heart, full breath in, full breath out, full breath in, and lower all the way down. Nice job, everyone. Take a good morning stretch. Hug the right knee into the chest, give it a little squeeze. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale, extend. You might hug both knees in. And if there's anything else that's calling to you, like a happy baby or a plow pose, right? Maybe another twist. Maybe you're ready to settle into that final resting posture. And as you settle into this shape, come into the sensation of complete effortlessness, right? All the efforting of class, playing with finding ease in the body, ease in the breath, all for this moment of deep rest, deep relaxation, integration, digestion, not so much of food, but of the information. We'll be here for a few moments and I'll call you out momentarily. So allow this time for yourself. Give yourself permission to settle into the effortlessness of this shape, of this time, of this space, of this body, and this breath. the map for our most sacred expedition, is often only revealed when we are brave enough to step into the unknown, be guided by the light in our heart, the rhythm of our own feet, and the compass of our own breath. Dear souls, as you are ready, slowly invite a deeper breath, allowing your awareness to rest on the breath. Giving yourself permission to move forward into your day, into your duties, your to-do list, with less effort, more ease, and more grace. And when the body's ready, find some gentle movements, wiggling toes and fingers, rolling out ankles and wrists. Maybe finding a good morning stretch, reaching the body long once again, hugging knees to chest, and rolling onto a side, coming into a fetal position, that shape of new beginnings, new perspectives, entering into the rest of your day with rose-colored glasses on. When you're ready, coming up to seated in your most comfortable position. And we'll close our time together with 3 ohms. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, let that go. Inhale for sound. Bringing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra or Hridaya Mudra, left hand on heart, right hand on top. Bowing the head to the heart. Repeating quietly with great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings in all 3 worlds be happy and be free from suffering. Dear souls, thank you so much for showing up and doing something so kind for your body, your mind, and your soul. And thank you for allowing me to guide you. It's my honor and privilege to be here. The light in me, the light in you. It is the same. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. And